LuchaWorld, episode number 57. Crack the eggs into the frying pan. Separate the white albumin that reveals itself as the great philosopher, the great physicist, and will now glorify the world. And when man goes into the next realm, he will be plagued by the giant chicken that was eaten as an egg and peck the spirit of the hunter to death. That was for Mark Cole. He wanted me to talk about eggs.
About eggs?
Podcast tonight, so
I don't think you want to talk about eggs like that.
I figured there's some reference that I forgot.
But Kurt, wait, before we continue, we got some breaking news.
Oh my god, what is it?
Kurt, are you sitting?
Wait, let me get relaxed.
Yeah, okay.
Let me take
We got to announce
my shoes off.
We got just like...
Whoa. This is something intense, right?
Yes, we got some breaking news.
Hold on, let me get...
Lucha...
Let me get my bag.
You're dropping all your stuff.
I know, wait. I want to take a Xanax.
Wait.
Let
me tell you, the Lucha Libre World Cup, they announced the Team TNA participants. Are you ready to hear
my god, wait, whoa. Well, let me guess.
Do you even know?
No, let me guess. The TNA... This must mean that finally, after all these years, Sika and Vanessa Del Rio are going to team up again. Oh my god, that's awesome.
When's the last time you watched TNA?
When it was still a pay-per-view.
It wasn't that like when they had the Luchadores or that one show that they...
No, I watched one of them when
I think Ultimo Guerrero
and Rey Misterios was there. Yeah, that was the last time I watched.
Yeah. I remember because what was that, like 2005 probably?
Probably. I remember I gave it once in a while I would give it a spin and I could never get through it.
Okay, I'm going to name the names of the Team TNA and I want to know if you've ever heard of them.
Okay.
The first member is Ethan Carter III.
Ethan Carter III.
EC3.
Oh, whoa. Was that the bad guy in the Billy Madison movie who was trying to take over his dad's company?
The second guy, Tyrus. Who AAA named Cyrus, which I'm sure they'll correct it. They probably corrected it before we did this podcast.
Well, I think he. Do
you know who that is?
Tyrus Cyrus. No, I don't know who.
Tyrus. Okay, and the third guy, Eli Drake. Do you know who that is?
I have no idea.
Okay, so
I'm old.
Well, Ethan Carter III, you might have seen in. Actually, I don't think you might have seen him in WWE when he wrestled under a different name. So, and I can't even remember his name in WWE. Tyrus was Brodus Clay.
Okay, I do remember that.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time I watched any significant amount of WWE.
And Eli Drake.
Oh God, Xanax.
Eli Drake. It was was Brian Cage's tag partner in La Migra. Remember that? I think it was that Border Patrol tag team.
Oh yes.
You might have seen them on Todo por el Todo and all that stuff.
I didn't see
on
them,
Lucha shows. I think PWR and all that stuff. Mm-hmm, you might have seen that. So they are the latest participants in the Lucha Libre World Cup. I had to break the news on this podcast.
Oh man!
And the other news, Sombra got a new name.
Oh dear! Okay.
And you know the only thing.
Let me guess. It's El Gallo Rojo.
No, it's actually. Well, he was Manny Andrade, which I think is his real name.
Right.
They skipped out they take out. Well, Mexicans, we have a lot of names in our names.
Yeah, the mother's maiden.
Yeah. We have everything. Yes, and then like an extra in there,
The village priest's name.
The third and the junior and the whatever.
So throw Rob Halford into there. Like a Judas Priest name.
His new name is Andrade Cien Almas.
Now that sounds sophisticated.
I like the Cien Almas part of it.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, for a luchador, that would be a pretty good name. Kind of like a Cien Caras type of feel to it.
Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah. So he's got a new name. I don't know if that's actually going to be his name, long term.
I was going to say, if they're using the new name, are they changing it because he's going to have a bigger presence?
Maybe he's going to move up into the actual televised NXT shows.
Which will mean I will start watching them.
Where will you watch them? On the network?
The Hulu or whatever
Hulu?
it is. Yeah, we have some.
You have Hulu?
I'm like the crazy old man who, when I was a kid, the crazy old man was trying to figure out how to use the remote control to change from channel 2 to 3 to 4. I'm going to be trying to find how to go from YouTube to Hulu to Netflix and whatever.
Yeah, so he's now changed his name. That's the other news of today. Actually, we should probably talk about the Lucha. I was going to talk about the Ingobernables breakup first, but we should just run down the Lucha Libre World Cup teams that they've announced, because they haven't announced all of them. They've kind of partially announced teams. Like for some teams, they actually partially announced some. Like Rey Mysterio is like in a team. He's on Team Mexico International, and it's basically just him so far that they've announced. I think they're announcing a guy, like a person or a team, on a daily basis, which I guess, I mean,
interesting.
You know, it's AAA. So Team Japan, they have Team Japan. The Noah team is Taiji Shimori, Naomichi Marufuji, and Maybach Taniguchi. I probably mispronounced all those names. You know, whatever.
That's okay.
I think you've been dead. I think the key to mispronouncing names is that if you think it sounds right, it's good enough. You know, go with it. Especially for Japanese or Spanish names, I hear people butcher Spanish names all the time on podcasts.
Yeah. I think you did. It sounded like you did pretty good though. Okay.
Team Japan is the other Team Japan. There's two Team Japans this time because you need two Team Japans. You gotta give them a better odds of winning. And actually, this helped because they're going to air on Samurai TV. The Lucha Libre World Cup is going to air on Samurai TV on, I think, June 19th. Team Japan, this is the 0-1 team, is Akebono, Ikuto Hidaka, and Masato Tanaka. I know I can't mispronounce Masato Tanaka. Somebody will tell me, no, you did. So, yeah, whatever.
Just go the Gordon Solie route and call everybody Tatsumi Fujinami.
Yeah, and then there's Team Mexico AAA. Psycho Clown won. It was a three-way match.
Oh, dear.
It was a three-way match, but he wasn't in the three-way match. He showed up, and he decided to ask Maricela Peña to let him into the three-way match. So it became a four-way match. So he's now in it. He's teaming with Hijos Tejano and Pentagon Jr. They're another team. So that's Team Mexico AAA. Then there's Team Mexico Legends, which is Connect, La Parca, the AAA version, and their third partner, which was announced, I think, yesterday, Blue Demon Jr.
Oh, boy.
The excitement of that team. I can't wait to see that team face Team TNA for the exciting... the excitement in that match. I mean...
my brother-in-law is really into Formula One racing. Like, in the last year, he's just got really into it. And he was watching an event, I think he said it was from Spain.
Yeah.
He says... One of the drivers had Blue Demon Jr. there.
Yes,
with him.
Blue Demon Jr. was there. Yeah. So what did he say? Did you tell him? Oh, he sucks.
Nah. It sounded too.
Yeah,
cool
no,
to have a masked wrestler.
Yeah, it's cool.
When he is starting to bring up Lucha and in the same realm of Formula One racing, I thought he was going to say there was a driver wearing a Lucha mask because everybody does.
It's
so
weird.
Many people wear Lucha masks.
But there's a lot of people in Formula One. They've CML has done shows, private shows for Formula One show. I guess racers and sponsors.
Well, I remember that one race.
Yeah, they run.
That was pretty cool. Actually,
that was but they had a private show afterwards. There's a couple other teams they haven't announced. The women's teams, I guess there's four teams that they're supposed to be. They've only announced three of them. Team Japan women, there's one team that has Aja Kong, Yuki Miyazaki, and Sumrisi Natsu. That's pretty good.
You got Aja Kong right.
Yeah. Actually, no, there's one Team Japan for the women. Team Canada for the women is this girl named Allie, Taya, the AAA girl, and Casey Spinelli. I think both those girls are Lance Storm students. And Team Mexico is the Apache family. Fabi Apache, Mary Apache, and Lady Apache.
Cream of the crop?
I think Lady's just their mother-in-law, right? Or something like that?
I don't know.
I don't think she was even involved with them for some reason. I keep thinking that there was no involvement with them, but then there's people who tell me that they were related.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, how many different wrestlers has she been married to, Lady?
That's the thing. I stopped because I know she was married to Brazo de Oro, right?
Yes.
Brazo de Oro and Electroshock most recently also.
I would love to see that family tree.
I'm not sure about Gran Apache. I think she might have been at some point with him or something.
That's...
Like it's like Estrellita. Like, just following on Twitter, you knew she was at one point with Puma.
Yes.
And then with Blue Panther Jr., and you also know she was with Cibernetico at some point. But it's like I don't really know anything.
I would have turned to be married to Lady Apache.
Well, this is Estrellita though. You want to turn
Lady Apache.
You want to turn with Estrellita too?
I don't want Estrellita. I want Lady Apache. Oh, Suranita. Oh yeah, I used to get into arguments with other wrestling fans in the early '90s because they all wanted Medusa and I wanted Suranita. They're going Suranita, and
you're like, who the hell's that?
No, they knew who she was. She just said, "But Medusa's so hot." And I'm saying, Suranita has those strong legs.
Yeah. Okay, Kurt, that's getting weird. But do you know the Team Canada women at all besides Taya?
Do they have legs like Suranita?
Well,
I know Taya. Yeah. I have seen Taya.
One of them's from TNA. The other one, I think, is an independent. So that's all I know about Lucha Libre World Cup 2016. The participants,
and it
sounds very exciting.
I'm more interested to just see how the whole thing plays out.
I'm curious to see what the other teams are, but it's like I'm actually judging from the some of the teams that they pick for the man. I mean, it's kind of like the women's teams kind of sound a little more interesting. Not the Canada team, but the other ones, the Japan and the Mexico teams.
Yes,
those sound interesting. I'm not sure what they're going to do for the USA team. I don't know if it's going to be a TNA or a Lucha Underground mix of women.
That'll be interesting.
Or it's indie women. I don't know. But they're going to announce them probably in the upcoming days. I guess we should talk about the big news this past Friday. Was the breakup of Los Ingobernables.
Yes.
Did you watch that show?
I did not watch that show.
I skipped it. I think most people skipped that show. I was like,
It's funny, lately a lot of us have been skipping the Friday shows.
Yeah, well, because they've been headlining with Pierrot.
Yeah. Hey, that's a plus about me watching the Puebla show.
Pierrot hasn't been on there.
Right.
Well, it's kind of weird because it's the Ingobernables have this weird history where, if you take out all their trios matches, they're really not that great. The trios matches haven't been that enjoyable. Even when Sombra was there, they were always just beatdowns. But when they would have singles matches or tag matches, they were usually really fun.
Yes.
Because I think the Ingobernables, the ideal situation for a good match would have been them feuding with the technicals, like a Sky Team or something like that. But they were always feuding with either a mixed group of technicals and rudos. There's always a brawl or a beatdown.
And instead of being a cool trio,
they wouldn't even team up. It wasn't always all three of them. It was always maybe two and a technical or one.
Yeah, there was no
rudos.
consistency.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Los Bucaneros or it was there's always with the La Mascara. He was so clearly a third wheel in the group.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a shame because the gimmick is so cool.
Yeah, and and they had two really cool workers with La Sombra and Rush. And really that group really caught on when Sombra got hot when he was getting into that feud with Atlantis for the mask.
Yes.
Because prior to that, I don't think it was as hot. It was basically Rush that was carrying the whole gimmick because people actually were saying, "Hey, those guys are cool because of Rush." And then Sombra kind of started warming up to being a Rudo, and that's when it really got hot. And La Mascara was like, he never really was as into it.
He never stuck out.
I thought Marco, for that 1 month, he was really into being a Rudo.
I enjoyed seeing
he was far more enjoyable as an Ingobernable than Mascara was.
Yeah, and La Mascara is kind of good as a generic babyface. Maybe team him with Angel de Oro. We were both Angel de Oro. We were both thinking the same thing.
We were just thinking the most generic technicals, and Angel de Oro was the first one. But really, La Mascara and Angel de Oro, they do the same shit every single time. Wasn't it crazy when they had that match for the title? And it was it's like you already knew what they were going to do because they both do the exact same thing. It's
exactly.
They're the same guys. It's like...
they should be a team. I think it would be just kind of funky.
Because they're just so generic. It's at least they put them together. Let them do their thing. And it's weird. You watch all these other technicals in CMLL, and it's Hombre Bala, an undercard guy. I think you probably saw him in the
I did.
Puebla match. that dude is so much better than some of the guys on top.
Okay, this is the thing I was going to
Titan is another one, Dragon Lee, and they're like, why is Mascara getting all this stuff? And maybe because he wants to drop his mask, you know?
But if that's the reason, that's...
Makes sense, but he'll have to change his name.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Lee is finally getting...
well, he's different, because he's actually getting pushed.
He's getting pushed, finally.
Well, not finally. From the very get-go, he was getting pushed. It's not a...
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, because I watched Hombre Bala Jr. for the last couple of weeks, and the last time I had seen him, I can't remember how long it had been, but I just kind of thought... well, he ain't Hombre Bala, but...
he's bad. I've actually thought he was really good from the, like...
See, the times I saw him, it was really... Of course, he is in with people... Oh, God, who was...
Oh, like Negro Casas.
Super Halcon Jr.
His partner.
Yeah.
And his opponents are usually Scandalo.
I was going to say, I watched the last...
Leono. He's teaming with Leono.
Yes.
And you're too busy, like, distracted by Leono being so shitty.
Now, because I was going to say, I've watched him these last 2 weeks on Puebla. I dig this guy.
Yeah.
And what's the story? Is he just not getting pushed, or is he
there's just a bunch of guys who don't get pushed in CMLL. It's like Hechicero. Look at how great he is. He's not getting pushed in CMLL.
Yep.
All his great stuff, and you know, the only thing that I think that's helped Hechicero is that being in CMLL, because I mean, there are guys who talked about him being really good when he was in Monterrey, and nobody would bring him up. Like, you never saw him mentioned, other than like the small group of people who were like, "Hey, you guys should watch him." And I consider myself one of those guys who was like in that group who say, "You guys should watch this." She said it was really good, but like promoters in Mexico City never brought him up. The people writing about Lucha or reporting about Lucha never brought him up in Mexico until he went to Mexico City and actually like appeared on like the Chilanga Mass shows and then made it to CMLL. And now people are like, everywhere are saying, "Hey, this guy's really good." He's been really great.
And
like,
also, I have to say, this might sound really superficial, but the makeover he did from that outfit he used to have,
it looked like an Atlantis type of classic type of look.
It looked like a hybrid of like Atlantis and one of the Villanos. This new outfit,
more modern type of look.
Yeah. And he really looks like.
It looks like a Hechicero.
Yeah, like a witch doctor.
Yes. In the past, it looked like he was a good wrestler, and now he looks like a Hechicero.
And I think should be getting his due.
It's weird, because I noticed like a lot of the guys from are getting... The Lucha Underground guys are really the ones that are getting booked in the U.S., but it's like they're not really going after like Hechicero and all this, and it's probably because they got to go through the CMLL and all that stuff.
Probably.
And it's a little more complicated, because these guys... I mean, you look at the AAA, like the Lucha Underground guys, they were... Very easily they could get booked elsewhere. Yeah. Because in Mexico they weren't getting as many bookings, and whereas with the CML guys, they're always wrestling like on shows. It's like, it's still like there's still guys who aren't getting booked on every show either. So it's
now, do you think it's a matter of him being in like the wrong clique, or not being in the clique that
I think it's
by the bookers?
Yeah.
Or could be attitude.
The bookers are basically like old schools, and they stick to their like the families and all that stuff. So it's, I think
so. What he has to do is marry into the Braza or the Casas family.
Well, that's the weird thing. The Casas family, like Puma, is arguably one. There's another guy.
Yes,
really good, and he's practically where he's maybe a notch above Hombre Bala Jr. and maybe a notch in around where Hechicero is. But I mean, he should be a main event guy. I remember when he did the Volador thing, the Volador Jr. thing. We were thinking, "Oh, this guy's going to get pushed," and he even brought up that bigger things were happening, and it's like, no, it's not. Although he's actually getting booked in the U.S. more often, so it's like, that's good. So, well, back to the Ingobernables breakup. Basically what happened, I guess La Mascara didn't take to Rush kind of roughing up Shocker. And so the whole gimmick is that La Mascara, supposedly he still claims he's still Ingobernable. If you're Ingobernable, you don't give a fuck about the whole Ingobernable persona is there. You don't give a fuck about the older generation of wrestlers, you know? So he's basically saying that what was it that he's saying? Oh, that he was getting tired of he didn't think Rush was being he felt bad for the guys that Rush was beating up on. He's like, these are older guys, you gotta treat them better, you know. They shouldn't get hurt.
He's kind of doing the angle of he respects the old school.
Yeah, it's like it's not.
That's actually a good angle.
But that's not the gimmick that he like. Now that he's a face, it works. But it's like it's so weird because I think he's all over. La Mascara is all over the place with this character. Mm-hmm. Where it's like he's a nice guy. Just stick to being a nice guy. You're not an Ingobernable.
Absolutely.
I mean, Rush is the one guy who actually gets that he's an asshole. You know, he wants to be an asshole. He doesn't care. He sticks to being an asshole the entire time.
And he plays it so well.
Yeah. So it's like then they Rush basically said that the only Ingobernables are him and his dad. He's like, it's my dad, and he yells out, "It's my dad! Yes, it's my dad!" Like he doesn't give a care anymore. But it's so sad because I mean, there's so many talented guys to go with Pure Oath as your choice as an Ingobernable. Mm-hmm. It's just so screwed up. But it's like it's messed up. It's like that's the guy that you don't want. Like I don't know. I mean. You want to, like, if you're selling merchandise, you want to come across cool to the audience. Mm-hmm. I don't know if having your dad be the other guy. There's not a lot of dads who are going to be. You would have to have an exceptionally cool dad, and and even then, have to be cool too. And even then, you'd probably keep it separate. Yeah. Like he could be cool, and you come up with merchandise for him, but you don't want to have him be like in your gimmick and stuff like that. And it's so weird because they actually did a post interview with them. And Rush is like just really great at his promo and stuff like that. And then they let Pure Oath talk, and it's like, yeah, he's not. it's like how did that? So they're kind of wondering if it's going to be like a whole family type of thing. But then they've been Rey Escorpion. Remember that whole thing? Oh, we didn't have the podcast. This happened after the podcast, right? Rey Escorpion the previous week or a couple weeks prior to that had teamed up with them with Rush and La Mascara, and they got rid of Rey Escorpion because he was with them, and they got upset at him, so they beat him up. So then La Mascara said Rey Escorpion was wearing a pirated Ingobernables t-shirt that he bought outside of Arena, Mexico. That. So then Rey Escorpion replied and said that wasn't a bootleg shirt. Rush gave it to him. And he started and this is where the angle, like everybody's saying that the angle started. If you look at it, really, the angle kind of started when Rey Escorpion started saying, because if you add Rey Escorpion into the whole thing, it would make a little more sense. Because Rey Escorpion said that Rush, he's like, I don't appreciate, he's like, I know La Mascara is trying to come off like he's the leader, but he's not the leader. It's Rush. Yeah. He's like Rush and La Sombra were the two guys who brought him in. So like he was on Informa and he was talking about how La Sombra and Rush were to him Los Ingobernables and the leaders in the Ingobernables, and La Mascara was like, I remember La Mascara was backstage. He was kissing their butts, wanting to join their group. He's like because to me La Mascara, he's a boring, very cold technical. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, that's great, because that it fits in perfectly because it's like, so it's kind of like leading to Rey Escorpion. Really, Rey Escorpion should be in the Ingobernables if they want somebody who's like, because he's like, they were talking about, and then they had Rey Escorpion.
They would be the hottest trio on the planet.
Hey, if you get rid of Pure Oath, if it was Rey Escorpion and Rush as a duo, exactly. That would be great. But even if you keep Pure Oath, I mean, Rey Escorpion is really good at promos, and he's another guy who plays the asshole very well too. Yes. So then they start asking, oh God, what was I going to say? So La Mascara is like, oh, Rey Escorpion says that, and so La Mascara responds like, all Rey Escorpion ever does is he breaks up factions. He shows up and he breaks up groups. He broke up the Ingobernables. He's saying he broke up the Ingobernables. He broke up the Guerreros, Ultimo Guerreros group, and he broke up other groups. And so Rey Escorpion responds, he's like, I'm not the one that breaks them up. I just showed up and wanted to point out stuff to Rush that was going on in the group. I was just laughing at the whole thing. So they broke up. Really, that's really the big feud right now, and I guess that's going to be the feud. It's so weird because they had the Rush Rush Maximo feud. Mm-hmm. Then it went to Rush Marco. Oh, and then they asked La Mascara if he wanted to join Marco and Maximo. I was like, oh great, now they're going to have him join. Although that fits him more better, like him being with Buffet de l'Amor. I think that fits him better than being Ingobernable.
That would fit. I think what Ingobernables needs is some consistency. I think they need they're swapping characters.
I think they need somebody who's actually. I think they need to just turn. They need to have Rush if they add Rey Escorpion, have him join the group, and let those guys be heels, or just be assholes. Let them be assholes.
Yes.
Like let them be together. Don't start like, oh, let's have Rush team up with Terrible and this other guy, and like forget about the team. There's no continuity in this.
Yeah, no continuity, and it would almost be like CML was turning into WWE Raw, where you have these convoluted angles every week. Well,
it's like that Goldust R-Truth thing with.
Yeah.
They were teaming up, and then they're teaming up with the other guys. Although there's a storyline, although it's something that I'm not interested in. But it's like, I don't know. It's one of those. It's just weird that they broke up the Ingobernables so quickly, and like. Although I kind of think the Ingobernables kind of broke up when Sombra. It kind of died when Sombra left.
That was a huge loss.
Yeah.
I mean, I still marvel how well that was played out. How he dropped his mask to Atlantis, and how the whole thing was played out over a long period of time without
anybody really knowing. Yeah.
That he was planning on leaving, and left on professional terms, which is...
And that's what everybody's thinking Rush is trying to do, because it's kind of weird that because everybody thinks because he brought in his dad, that maybe he's trying to just do everything he always wanted to do on his way out. But I think there's also that... I think there's also... My feeling is that maybe they kind of don't want to, like... Because if you put Rush versus Atlantis in the mask versus hair match, everybody's just going to assume, Atlantis is going to take Rush's hair. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe if you throw in some... Like, before you go to that match, maybe you go Rush La Mascara, which I think would do... I think that would actually do a good crowd. Even if you don't think La Mascara is a great wrestler, Rush is good enough where he can actually...
Well, yeah.
And La Mascara isn't bad enough where it wouldn't be good.
And also, also, we're pretty hardcore fans. How do you think the general fans look at La Mascara? Do they...
Yeah, as hardcore... I think that's the thing. As hardcore fans, you kind of don't look at him the same way as... General fans, I think there's a lot of fans who like him.
So there could be some money in that.
Yeah, so it's because you see like women like him and stuff like that. It's like obviously like a lot of the people who listen to this podcast aren't really going to be like as into him. Although I think there's probably a good crowd that's going to be like, yeah, he's not that bad, whatever.
Yeah,
but it's
well, that's the thing. When I watch him, it's not like I sit there and think, oh my god, this guy has no talent. He's
just boring. He just doesn't do it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like very inspired.
Yeah, it's weird because you see him and then you see Mascara Dorada and Dragon Lee. It's like, holy shit, these guys are like in another planet. And
exactly, you see this passion. Then La Mascara sounds like a guy who's just going to work.
Yeah, and maybe if he dropped the mask and comes up with a new name, maybe with him, maybe like Averno, he's great with his facial expressions. Were always great.
There are several. Well,
maybe he's got great facial expressions, and that could add
Averno, to his... Sombra, two guys who actually. I mean, the only thing that bummed me out about Sombra losing his mask was I can never remember seeing a wrestler who actually had cool facial expressions without having a face. He had that black mask, but man, his physical mannerisms were so expressive. Yeah. But at the same time, when he took off his mask, that face is money too.
It's just weird when
he reeks charisma.
When you see La Mascara and Angel de Oro, you just see guys who are just like maybe they do put in the effort. Well, I think that's the thing with La Mascara, because when he took a shot at Rey Escorpion, he was talking about how Rey Escorpion should spend more time in the gym. He's like, because he said, you don't look like a wrestler. You're wearing a headband and whatever your gears were, and you don't even go to the gym. And it's like, yeah, but Rey Escorpion can smoke you in the ring. Like Rey Escorpion, nobody's called Rey Escorpion boring. It's like nobody's going to call Rey Escorpion boring. He's really good. I go, you may be spending a lot of time in the gym, but you should really be spending more time training in the ring. But it's like, it's weird with him.
Okay, well, we have a lot more news to cover, and we will be right back after this timeout. And we have returned. Well, the other story that hit the news, we lost a legend in Lucha Libre.
Actually, we lost two, because earlier this week, the guy who wrote the song Los Luchadores passed away.
I did not know. No way, really?
Yeah, I just saw that, I think, yesterday, and then Cubs fan wrote about it today.
The guy from Conjunto Africa.
Was he from that?
That was the first...
Because I think he was the writer. The guy who wrote the song.
Oh, okay, because they were the band that made the hit famous.
Yeah.
Oh, my lord, no way.
Yeah, I was reading about that one. I saw it mentioned on, I think it was Wednesday, around the time that Lucha Underground was going on. And then Cupsan posted the link afterwards.
When you think of it, he must have been pretty old. That's all.
Yeah, yes, I know that. I was thinking that too. I was like, oh, he's pretty old.
I remember once just going through Amazon to try to see how many different versions, just on Amazon alone, there were.
Yeah, because I found one that was like a different band. That version was a little more like, it sounded a little more modern, like not modern, but it better, crisper quality audio.
In the 80s, there was a group called Los Flamers that did a cover of it.
Mm-hmm.
That I think Conjunto Africa's was the best ever. But when I looked on Amazon.com, I found, I think, if I remember right, I found over 20 different covers of it. And I think that's incomplete. I mean, it's a song that's bands still cover to this day.
Pedro Ocadiz, the composer of the song Los Luchadores.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now I want to read up on him some.
Yeah, apparently
this is fascinating.
he didn't realize the four names he came up with.
Yes.
He didn't realize there was a wrestler named Bulldog. When he wrote the song.
Oh my God!
And I think Bulldog is like one of the 100 greatest luchadors of all time, really.
Yeah, in fact,
yes, when I started doing reading up, I was like, oh, I didn't realize he was that big a name.
Which is funny because remember, that clip, the way they used to open the CMLL show in the 80s, where they'd play that song and they showed all the old clips. That was Bulldog in the ring wrestling.
Yeah,
and he was the one who was fictional as far as the author went then.
Yeah, he had no idea.
Oh, that's funny. I always assumed it was a match between the two teams because Santo and Cavernario were a team.
It could have been.
What a trip.
They probably, well, but it being Lucha, somebody was like, yeah, just come up with these guys.
It's such a cool
Santo,
song.
Cavernario, Blue Demon. But, I mean, those three were name.
Yes.
I haven't read a lot on him lately.
And in fact, I think there were several Bulldogs. There was a Bulldog, what was the name? Bulldog Venegas or something like that?
Bulldog Brower.
Bulldog Bob Brown.
Bulldog, yeah, so people know that we actually do know more than just Lucha.
But if he was a true luchador, he would be Roberto El Perro Cafe. El Perro de Cafe.
No, he would be Bulldog Brown because that's they use American names now for some reason.
Yeah, but I like Perro de Cafe.
What else was
El Perro de Toro Cafe.
Yeah, well, the guy who passed away, Kato Kung Lee.
Yeah, a legend. Now, you did a ton of research on him.
I actually, the one thing that I found very interesting about it was his time in Guatemala, where he learned from Oswaldo Johnson, which I actually, prior to that, I wasn't really that familiar with Oswaldo Johnson. But then when I was reading up on Oswaldo Johnson, I found out that he trained Jorge Mendoza, who I did know from the video you had actually, I think you got from I can't remember who you got.
Oh, yes. From. I got the Guatemala video from Tom Burke in the early 90s.
So I've got footage is from the late 70s, right? Or
no,
80s?
It's actually from the late 80s because I remember there on one of the commercials there was advertisement for a Ninja Turtle coloring book or something. So it was probably around 90.
I actually looked through the Guatemala magazines.
Yeah, I gotta tell you. Before...
I forgot I have a whole stack of Guatemala magazines that you brought.
That's right.
Hey, I put all the magazines in order. That was the biggest accomplishment.
Oh my God, you did that! I'm impressed.
Yes, I was like,
oh my
I went
God.
by. I think I
am impressed.
I think the last, because I was going from oldest to newest, so the newest ones are way at the end.
That's awesome.
But I was just the oldest ones. I just put in just okay, they're in the 60s. I'll figure it out as I go along. But everything else, I went month by month. I didn't put them
that's cool.
I was shit, cool. I got to go through this stuff.
Because at one point I had all the Lucha Libre mags in orders, but as I started looking through them,
that happens with everything.
Folks, I got to tell you, if you knew how many magazines I brought over to Fredo's for him, you'd be impressed at his accomplishment.
Yeah.
This is a lot of magazines.
It helps that it was one of those weeks where I was I'm going to do this, and it took me a whole week to actually get that done.
I believe it.
Because I would take one bin out. I would start as soon as I would probably 5 in the evening, and from 5 in the evening until 12 until midnight.
That's an accomplishment.
And sometimes I would get past midnight just to like, and I would be like, and I would be thinking, this is impossible. Because the first thing I did was I took everything out.
Yeah.
And then I started
you have
going,
to do
yeah,
that,
because it's like, yeah, it's like there's
one big jumble.
And then I put in my magazines, the After mags and all that stuff on one, because I was like, I gotta put this stuff somewhere. And so I was like, I'm putting these at the bottom. Then I started working my way up.
Yeah, and before, we're talking about the Guatemala tape that I got from Tom Burke. Before there was a plethora of obscure stuff showing up on YouTube, I do have to tell you, in the 90s, Tom Burke had one of the most diverse collection of wrestling tapes.
Really?
He had the Guatemala tapes. He was the one who sent me my first Titanes in a Ring tape after I had not seen it in over 20 years on TV.
Wow.
He has stuff from Germany.
The Guatemala stuff is worth just to see Jorge Mendoza.
Jorge Mendoza.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is I think the only three people I know who know him are you, me, and Jose Fernandez.
So when I wrote the bio on Kato Kung Lee, like I was telling you, I didn't write about Jorge Mendoza because I figured, nobody's really going to know who that is. Mm-hmm. It's bad. It's already, people aren't going to know a lot about Oswaldo Johnson. Mm-hmm. But then when you see Jorge Mendoza, you're like, holy shit, this guy must have been a really good trainer, because this guy was really good.
And I'll never forget when I saw him on that tape. It's on an older man.
It's on. For those wondering, I'll post the link because it's on.
Yes.
I have it. I actually uploaded it onto YouTube before my YouTube account has a strike on it, so I can't really do anything with it.
Oh, that's right.
I could upload some stuff, but it's up there. So it's like it can't be longer than 15 minutes.
Now maybe we get upload it on mine.
No, mine's on there. I'm telling you, it's on there.
Oh, it is on there.
Yes, I already. It's uploaded. It wouldn't have been.
I'm sorry. I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember.
No, I'm saying I can't upload more stuff.
Yeah.
But it's got to be short.
Because I remember seeing Jorge Mendoza and just thinking, this looks like a guy who's past his prime. He was
because he looked like he was 60 years old.
But
right?
that guy was wrestling. He wasn't just riding on his laurels.
He would have been like Black Terry and Negro Navarro.
Yeah. That's a very good
the other guy
person.
The other guy they barely discovered in Mexico, Charles Lucero from Monterrey. Mm-hmm. Really great worker.
Yeah, I like Charles Lucero.
And I kept telling people, if this guy had a son who would take pictures and filmed his matches, people would be raving about him too.
Well, yeah,
and they finally started.
You're the one who turned me on to Charles Lucero, and that guy is awesome.
Yeah, and then we ended up getting the Monterey footage of him when he was younger. So yeah, but the Kato Kung Lee thing, that was actually the most intriguing thing for me. Like just
I wasn't aware that he spent time in Guatemala. I didn't know that.
Why? You figured he had to because he was coming from where was he from?
Panama, right?
Panama, right?
Yeah.
Panama. It's like I forget though. Yes, it's like that constantly. Like he only brought it up every single time he talked about his career.
Yeah, he's from Panama.
Yeah, that was like
Johnny Lascano Smith.
Yeah. So it's like you kind of figured he had to like go through like some, but you really like as a fan, I think you probably went through it too, where you're like, I wonder if there's wrestling in these other parts of the world, and you don't really think that there's wrestling.
I always thought about that.
So I was like, then you find like when I found out that Colombians went and wrestled in Panama. I was like, Colombia has wrestling? I was like, I didn't know they had wrestling back then. I just thought they were doing coke and drug cartels and shit like that. I didn't know they had time for wrestling.
It's funny because when you're talking about Kato Kung Lee being trained in Guatemala, I mean, what a diverse education he has. Because if you watch those Guatemalan tapes, it's lucha, but they have their own regional brand of lucha. A lot less emphasis on topes.
Well, like what he was saying, that he liked the lucha that they were doing in Panama, but it wasn't what really got him into it. What got him into it was what the Colombians were doing. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see what the Colombians were doing in wrestling back then. Because I mean, for him to say that was what interested in it. Then he went to Guatemala. I guess he must have been somebody who really liked to learn the different stuff, and obviously did because he took martial arts and all that stuff.
Yes.
But and then when he came to Mexico, I found it interesting that he was a big part in Juarez at first. Mm-hmm. Then he went to he was in Mexico City at first. Then he went to Juarez, where he made his name, and then made his way back to Mexico City, where he became Kato Kung Lee, that was interesting too.
Yes, because I I've seen him wrestle a number of times. I bet I know very little about his bio. Just by sheer coincidence, about 2 months ago, I was going through a really old Boxy Lucha where he...
Don't you kind of wish that you kind of like knew more or less when guys were going to die so you could have this stuff ready, like prepared for...
There's some people who do some...
Yeah.
I think there's journalists who do that. They prepare bios on people just in case they die.
I think I'm going to start doing that, just going through magazines and like just... Like, if I find something, just put it on somebody's list, like, just in case.
Well, this old magazine, he was getting a significant push as Johnny Lozano Smith.
Yeah.
And I knew he was Kato.
I kind of like that name, Johnny Lozano Smith.
It's cool in itself. Yeah. It's almost cooler than Kato Kung Lee.
Yeah.
And when I saw the story and the photos of him, I thought, you know what, he looked pretty charismatic even without the hood.
Yeah.
I mean,
he wasn't a bad-looking dude. Like, once he got older, he looked really bad towards the end, though. Like,
well,
he lost.
Hadn't he been in really poor health?
Like, even if you look at the picture, the most recent picture he had, compared to the interview where he was talking to Boxy Lucha, he looked like he lost like at least 50, 60 pounds from that. Yeah, because he looked really bad.
That's sad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he went through a lot of like that. What was it? The thrombosis I told you. Like, what was it?
Which is a result of diabetes.
Yeah, blood clot, and then he had diabetes. I think.
Yeah, because I think thrombosis. I'm not sure. I think thrombosis is a result of diabetes,
really?
like long term.
We're not doctors, so we don't know.
Well, we'll have to ask Dr. Moldad.
Or Dr. Wagner Jr.
That's right, but
or Dr. Lucha.
Dr. Lucha.
Yes, Dr. Lucha.
We got to interview him again. What are you a doctor of?
Yes. He'll probably know just because he'll tell us some. He's heard about it enough times where.
Well, wait a minute. I'm Dr. Vandal Drummond.
Well, that's right. You're a doctor. Yeah. You're Dr. Vandal Drummond.
And I repeat the line that Dr. Jerry Graham said when.
You knew Dr. Jerry Graham.
I knew Dr. Jerry.
Studied under Dr. Jerry Graham. You're a doctor.
I paid when I was riding home with him in. From Bakersfield one night.
Those were your courses.
We were listening to K-Rock, and they had a show on K-Rock called Rock and Religion. And Doc is sitting there trying to light his cigarette and fumbling and just half conscious. And, whoever hosted the show is saying, Gary Newman is like, an artist that looks at the utopian possibilities.
Yeah, I always wonder.
And then they start playing it, and Doc goes, what? Who is this? And I'm going, Doc, that's a guy named Gary Newman. And goes, oh my God, you call him on the phone and you tell him Dr. Graham would like to talk to him about life.
Gary Newman's a little more current considering some of the people we've brought up on this podcast.
But you're absolutely right.
I keep thinking Gary Newman. Even I'm pretty sure there's like 90% of people listening to the show wouldn't even know.
Oh no, he's yesterday news. Yes. Unless you're into the history of
music and stuff like
new
that.
Wave art.
Yeah, it's like it's funny because even when we talk about 80, like Kato Kung Lee, like I was telling you, I've heard podcasts. They won't even bring him up, and it's like because it's like. They don't know anything about him, or like Super Porky. Like people will be like, I've heard he's great. And it's like, dude, it's like they don't really know enough.
And what's frustrating about that is in the past.
But there's a lot of podcasting came at a later time for us.
It did, and the frustrating thing with Lucha Libre is the magazines in the past really emphasized their history.
Yeah,
I mean, they would go.
Well, Super Luchas, like. It's like 90% is like stuff that current, and then when there's something that happens from the past or somebody who died who was the star from the past, it's always Ernesto Campo coming back to write about it. He's like the only one because he's like, or like there's another guy. There's like 2 or 3 people who write about it and they're really good, but it's like nobody else is like, well, I don't know that. Did he wrestle the Undertaker or like was he ever in NXT? It's like. And then Super Luchas I'm talking about.
How many cage matches?
Yes, how many cage matches? It's like yeah. It's like you kind of feel bad about it, but it's like that's the way it is, It
is the way it is. But you know what's funny? Because one of the things I used to love about Boxy Lucha in the early 90s is I don't know if it was just one of the journalists or a handful of them or all of them, but they really wrote in great extent about the history of Lucha. And they post all sorts of results from the 30s and 40s, bios on people like Charo Aguayo and Tarzan Lopez. And they must have changed...
they do still kind of a bit, but it's
they
not
do a bit, but I haven't read it in years, but I remember at some point...
it's on digital now, so...
I want to say mid to late 90s. I had read it. I read enough of their history articles that I saw whoever was now writing the history articles getting dates radically wrong, or
really.
Well, they'd do an annual tribute.
Well, that's not just the Boxy Lucha thing. That's a lot of wrestling people who do that.
There is, but the frustrating thing is they used to be so precise, because I remember every year on the anniversary of Sangre India's death in Arena Coliseo, they would do an homage to him every year.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool. And then one year, the format of the magazine changed some. You could tell somebody else was behind the steering wheel. And their homage to Sangre that got the date of his death wrong, and I can't remember what else. There was something else really embarrassing that, it was just 1 year ago you guys had it right. What happened?
I didn't read their bio on Kato Kung Lee, so... But I would have been...
But the stuff you found was really good, though. I mean, you
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, that was the other thing. I saw some of the bios from other people, and it was like they really didn't do a lot of, research. It was just like, oh, he died, and, really quick blurbs on it in Spanish. I'm not talking about the American sites. I mean, I don't expect the Wrestling Observer and they did get the information from Dr. Lucha and myself.
Yes.
But it's like, I'm talking about Super Luchas and all these other, although Ernesto Campo did a good job for his part, but there wasn't somebody, and they don't do long bios in Spanish. It's not a Spanish. I think in Spanish websites they don't do bios, and they also don't do a lot of recaps of TV shows and stuff like that. Although they might now. I just don't read them.
So Campos, because
Ernesto Campo.
Because as far as current magazines, I really don't.
It's not Campos.
Is this Campo?
It's Ocampo.
Ocampo.
Yeah.
So it's Ernest Ocampo.
Ernesto.
Oh, Ernesto Ocampo.
Yes.
Okay, Ernesto. Never forget.
This kind of tells. I'm the insider. Kurt isn't.
Yes.
Kurt deals with all the gringos.
No, what's funny is years ago
you deal with the gringos.
Years ago, I was obsessed with Lucha Libre magazines, but as far as current ones,
you wouldn't know the new guys.
None. But I can guarantee you what stuff I have found online is from Ernesto Ocampo, and I should remember the name because he is the only one who writes about.
Yeah, and the weird thing is when I first got into reading some of the Super Luchas, he was the one doing the international write-ups.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember. That's how I remembered him, doing the U.S. stuff. International as in U.S.
Yes.
He's Mexico, so he wasn't writing about the international. And when I say international, I was talking about he was writing about WW and stuff like that, or ECW. I think was the thing back then. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because he was the one I communicated with him back then, but it wasn't. I was like, yeah, he's writing about American wrestling. What do I care about that stuff? And then I didn't realize he knew Lucha, and I was like, okay, well,
that's cool.
Yeah. So, and now it's the complete turn where he's now the one writing about Lucha history, and everybody else is writing about all this other stuff.
Yeah, because whenever I'm doing any research on some of the old timers.
He's the one that they come back.
Yeah, if it gets to the Super Luchas page, it's always him.
Yeah. So, Kato Kung Lee, when was the first time you saw him wrestle?
I saw him wrestle. I want to say the mid '80s.
Mid '80s. You didn't see him in LA? I
saw him
because I know he wrestled the Olympic.
Yeah, you know what? I can't remember exactly when I first saw him. I was telling you before the podcast.
It's weird because you could see him in video now, and it's like people you forget. I didn't see him back then.
This is what I feel bad about somebody so cool because I really liked him, but I don't remember any one specific match. I remember seeing him team with Kung Fu. I saw them live, and I remember on another occasion seeing Kung Fu, and after seeing all the pictorials of Kung Fu when I was a kid, because he came out when the whole Kung Fu fad, when Bruce Lee and David Carradine and Kung Fu were really big. I'd see all these stories about this guy Kung Fu, and he looks so cool.
Yeah.
And then I saw him wrestle, and he didn't suck, but...
Well, the thing with Kato Kung Lee was cool that he did the ropes.
Yeah.
He did the rope, walking on ropes. And, I brought that up I think it might have been on Twitter where I said, you don't see a lot of guys doing that. I think Mascara Dorado really does that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if he got that from watching Kato Kung Lee. I should ask him,
Yeah, I'm sure any wrestler when they're developing their own style.
Because, I don't see anybody else really do that. Like, I don't see anybody else, like, just walking the ropes and doing... they use the ropes to do stuff, but it's like... He actually walks, does a little spin. It's the Kato Kung Lee spot that he's doing.
Yeah, a tribute to the old school. What I do remember is when I would see matches involving Kung Fu and Kato Kung Lee as a team, just Kato Kung Lee, in my opinion, stood out a lot more.
I saw him wrestle in Juarez, and like he was without his mask by that point. So it was like you see him without his mask, and you're like, oh, what is this guy, like a karate dude or what's going on? And it's like. Because it's Kato Kung Lee, and you start seeing, he's all right. But, by that point, I think it was 87, 88. By that point, you're watching Eddie Guerrero and Hijo Santo in opening matches or in between, and then you're seeing all these other guys. And then you see, like, the cool guys with the masks. It's like, Kato Kung Lee, he's all right. But there wasn't that big interest in it.
And it's also not until you really get really deep into the sport.
Yeah. I was at that point where it's like, you got to look cool or you got to be really good. And it's like, I think... I wasn't as big a fan of his because I think by the time I got into... He was older by the time I saw him. And really, the last couple of years he was around wrestling, he wasn't very good. So it's like... he got it, yeah. It's like, he was in IWRG a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. If you watch early 2000... Late 99, early 2000 IWRG, he was on there a lot, and he wasn't that great at that point. But it's like, he wasn't... But, I'm sure there's going to be somebody who's going to remind me that I saw him in something good. Because that always happens. Whenever we do a podcast, they'll be like, you saw him in this thing. It's like, I remember now. But it's like...
I get embarrassed when there's somebody really cool and I can tell you...
Well, it's weird.
A spot he did or something, but I could not tell you when I saw or what match it was. Where Negro Casas, I can name a whole string of matches.
Well, it's natural because, like, when we were talking to Oriental, and I finally translated the entire interview, which took me a while.
I haven't read it yet. Yeah, I didn't see it.
So we were talking to Oriental, and I'm pretty sure he was off on a lot of the information he was like in his mind, because I don't remember him being in AAA for that long. It's like,
people's memories are a funny thing. Like, I actually gave it to Negro Navarro when you interviewed him when I mentioned him reuniting with the Death Missionary.
Yeah, because he corrected you in the whole.
And he didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Because he wrestles probably every day of his life almost. Yeah. So I'm sure that was just another... I'm sure he remembers being in Japan, no doubt, but...
Yeah.
But he didn't remember the angle, and...
Yeah, because the way Oriental was saying it was like, there was 6... He's been gone from AAA for 6 years, and he had been in AAA for about 15 years, and that really doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Because if you look at his career, and he's telling me, the guy who watched... Like, there's people who listen to the show who will tell you, Fredo watched AAA and CML a lot through that time period, because I was like the source for that stuff. Yeah, because if you take 6 years out, that's 2010. 15 years would have been 2011. Let's go 2011. That's 2011. 15 years, that's all the way to 96. He was still in CML all the way through 2001. Because I even remember when he debuted. He debuted in one of those vignette interviews where they were introducing him as part of the... Remember they were bringing in all these guys from WWE? Like Papi Chulo.
Yes.
Eserios, Mr. Aguila.
I remember that.
And Hector Garza came in. Oriental came in around that time. So that's how I remember. And he was off on when he was in CML also. So I was like, dude, you're...
Yeah. Some people are more vague. Like, I gave it to Navarro for just admitting, I don't remember. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, there are some people, like, I don't know if he's still like this, but way back when, I knew Tom Pritchard a little bit, and what blew me away is how he remembered dates.
Yeah.
Really well.
And, I don't expect them to remember dates, because, like, I've told people, I think when I was interviewing Volador Jr., I told them, you're not going to remember. I think it was when I asked him if he considered himself the best wrestler in 2015, and he said he didn't really look at it that way. Like, to him, every year is the same. And it's like as a fan, you're looking at it, whereas he's living it. You're not going to see the same thing. Like, he wrestled Flamita.
Yeah.
And the next day, he's already, like, forgetting who the hell he wrestled, Well,
it's funny, the matches I had where I had the most fun, I dig dates. I could probably not name any date I did after 1995. but seriously, I remember my match with Gemini Kid was May 10th.
Quick, give me the date of your singles match against Hal Kid. You're like...
I've been trying to forget about that.
Dr. Lucha's gonna tweet you the date. Watch. He's gonna tell you. Watch. He's
no, my debut was July 23rd, 1983.
Yeah.
Bell, California, the Azteca Gym, the boxing gym. It was in a boxing ring, too. Went to a 10-minute draw with a surgeon. I was supposed to do the job, but he couldn't remember the finish. Seriously. Yeah, it was complicated. Really? In his defense, it was complicated. This was the finish. I throw him into the turnbuckle. I charge him. He moves out of the way. I hit my head on the turnbuckle. He pins me.
Isn't that on video? Is that the...
No, unfortunately.
Okay. Because I was trying to remember if that was the one you had the match in...
Oh, that was in Hawaiian Gardens.
Yeah, that one.
And again, September 30th, 1983.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrestled Tom Hankins, and then I wrestled Pistol Pete on that show, yeah. No, but some people have a real knack for dates. I
kind of feel bad because, like Kato Kung Lee, when he was forgetting stuff, he would look at the guy interviewing him. Mm-hmm. In one of the interviews I was watching, and the guy, I don't think the guy even bothered like taking information. Whereas, and he took paper to actually ask him questions. I'm like, if you take paper, you should actually take notes on the dates. Mm-hmm. I go, whereas when we do interviews, it's sporadic. It's out of the blue we get an interview with somebody.
Yeah.
I don't go plan. We don't plan the interview.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would be kind of fun if we
did that, but
if we knew we were gonna have an interview with somebody where we had an hour.
Yeah,
it'd be fun to kind of.
The trouble with doing that here is you gotta ask the promoter sometimes, and the promoters are just sometimes they're gonna be up for it. Sometimes they're gonna be I don't like asking for me personally. I don't like asking for favors that way.
Right.
That way.
Yeah.
Ahead of time, it's if I'm there, I'll ask them, hey, you want to do an interview? Make it spontaneous. If they say, hey, that's cool, thanks. I'll write it, but it's if I gotta ask and jump through hoops to get it, it's
no, I agree. I agree.
I'll find a way to go through the whole situation.
We'll put on our glasses, nose, and mustache.
Yeah. So Kato Kung Lee, really, I mean, and it's he had a really long career too. I was really impressed with his whole trajectory, going to UWA, going back to CMLL, EMLL at that time, then becoming an independent.
I'd like to read up more on him now.
Yeah.
And it's funny, 6 Degrees of Separation. I want to learn more about Oswaldo Johnson now.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. It's just...
and that wasn't... That was something that... he brought it up in an interview, and I thought, who the hell's Oswaldo Johnson? Because,
Yeah.
That's what I said when I heard him, and so I looked it up, and I said, holy shit, this guy was a big deal. I saw it on a I think it was somebody who wrote... did a little write-up on Central American wrestling.
Yes.
And I thought, man, I could have done more research on Oswaldo Johnson, but it's guy just died. Kato Kung Lee just passed away.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I was...
for the future.
Yeah, I was but I have that in my head. I kind of want to do a little more. And, you have the Guatemala magazines that you brought along. I got to look through
those. Those are fun little magazines.
Yeah.
Those are a trip.
Yeah, when you set the turtle picture, I was like, oh, he's talking about those Guatemala magazines. I do this because it's...
Yeah, but I
want to do a write-up on the history of the turtle, the Ninja Turtles.
Actually, that'd be cool.
That'd be kind of fun.
I'll never forget when it started becoming a fad and seeing one of the first incarnations of the Ninja Turtles.
You know what I actually want to do a research on is Super Muñeco's promotion.
I'd be right with you on that.
Considering it was a gimmick type of thing.
The characters, Super Archie.
Yeah.
Bird Boy 1 and 2. What were some other ones?
I know he had Darth Vader.
That's right.
That was his main heel.
It was almost like a Titanes in El Ring, except it sounded like the wrestling was crisper than Titanes in El Ring.
Because I know Super Muñeco said he kind of caught a lot of flack for that promotion. Because it was a kiddie promotion. I think it was him and somebody else who did the promotion.
Yeah, in fact, something I remember Konnan telling me when I first knew him, and Super Muñeco was kind of more based out of Tijuana at that time. Mm-hmm. And I remember Konnan telling me he got a lot of heat, and he says a lot of guys actually would shoot on him and
Yeah.
smack him around, and he said that was a mistake because that just made him tough, and he eventually started fighting back.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, we interviewed him once at San Bernardino.
Oh, really?
Me and Pat Hood. And I'll never forget him just pulling his mask down, because, he has the...
Yeah.
Pulls his mask down, and there's just scars all over that forehead. And I got, I mean, he's probably not a traditional shooter in the sense of tech, but
Just somebody who can take care of himself.
Yeah, exactly. Like a badass who's not going to take it.
Yeah.
And I kind of dug that. Like somebody's trying to get smart, and hey, you just got beaten by a puppet.
Yeah. I dug their trio. That was my favorite.
Yeah, I love Trio Fantastica.
Trio Fantastica. That was like the one time I really had like this long email conversation with Jose. Poor guy.
Yes.
Poor guy he picked the subject, so he knew more or less.
But I'm with you. If there's any way we could find info on Muñeco's promotion, I've been curious about that for years.
Yeah, so we should probably talk more news.
Yes.
Dorian Roldan finally talked about, because we're doing the press conference for the Lucha Libre World Cup. So he had a couple sit-down interviews talking about AAA business. And he actually talked about some of the people who have come and gone. Sexy Star, he revealed Sexy Star was still in AAA. Although,
that's surprising.
Although I guess Sexy Star doesn't, like, she doesn't know why she's not in the World Cup. like she's not sure why she's not in that.
She hasn't wrestled there at all.
But she wasn't wrestling that much even before that.
Yeah.
She was like, because she was always getting hurt or something, and then she really, I think she's financially set where she could just pick what she wants to do. And I don't think she's that. I think she's not as into jobbing. And
I'm a little confused. I bet they could find somebody as hot as her who could probably wrestle a little better, not have an attitude.
Well, the thing is, and the other thing is also the pay is also the issue with them. That was an issue with them. He did also reveal Konnan was officially gone from AAA. But this is funny. He said Konnan. They asked him. I think it was Jose Manuel Guillen asked him. So what about Konnan? Is he gone? And he's like, yeah, Conan's gone. He's pretty much made it pretty clear that he's gone, I think he's already kind of heard all the talk on Twitter.
Because I read a lot of the quotes from Konnan on, I forget which interview it was, but pretty much saying they...
Well, he did I translated the one he did in Spanish, and then I translated the one in English. Well, I didn't translate the one in English, I just recapped the one. A bunch of people recapped the English one, but it's like, he just pretty much was done with it. And, the most recent one, he really took it to Dorian, where he said he's just not good at the business and he just bashed them really badly.
Wow.
But it's like, that's how I think Conan's kind of thought that way about him a lot. And it's weird because I think there's been other guys who have like kind of who've dealt with Konnan, and they've always had like this, they talk about how he's a good guy, but they don't want to deal with him business-wise. Cassandra brought it up.
Cassandra was the first one I thought of
when
you said that.
Brought that up. And Konnan got upset about that, but it's like, dude, it's kind of true, bro. You can't, you can't really, like, if somebody doesn't want to work with you, you can't talk shit about them.
I love Konnan, but I think I said this on a recent podcast too. His blatantly expressed opinions
are going to rub people the wrong way too.
Yeah, exactly. There's some times where it might make him look cool and it might get him somewhere, but it could also shoot him in the foot.
Yeah, he knows.
Had 9 lives,
and he knows it shoots him in the foot. But I think that the thing where it's like, sometimes it gets a little harsh. Where it's like
I think so too. Yeah. I think so too.
And this with Dorian is getting really harsh, but it's like, it's funny because all this stuff that was going on, the bus accident, all this stuff. He was still working with the promotion. He didn't bring it up when he was working for them. When he left, it's really, so it's kind of it's hypocritical at the same time, because if you really feel that way, you would have quit months ago. like you would have quit. Exactly. You would have quit like as soon as you heard somebody say that. Hey, and I understand the process takes a while for it to come out.
Oh, it reminds me of the time years ago when Superstar Graham was on that.
The Wrestle Reunion where he was like just shitting on WWE.
Oh, that was funny.
That wasn't the one you were thinking about?
I was thinking of the Donahue show he was on. The famous Donahue.
Yeah, that was
and he was talking about how what did he say? Did he say he saw Patterson?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I can't remember. But he said he
I
saw.
thought you were talking about the Russell reunion one.
That was funny in itself.
Yeah.
But he was talking about witnessing an underage kid being misappropriately handled, or I can't remember, inappropriately touched. And somebody in the audience says, "Why didn't you report it?" And he just answered like, "I'm talking, he was doing something bad to that kid." And she's saying, "Yeah, but why didn't you report it?" So it's almost like you're saying, "Oh, I didn't want to lose my job."
Yeah.
When I lose my job, I'll talk about it. Otherwise, screw that kid. I don't care if
you're going to take a stand. Hey, you lose your job, you got to take a stand. You know, that's how I've always been. Like I'm not, and that's why I don't work for other people too. So
exactly.
self-employment is like that's. So he also talked about Alberto's departure, Mystice's departure, and Cibernéticos, and he did talk about Cibernetico and electroshocks, and he said there's legal issues involved with those two.
Okay.
That's still he did say that the process takes longer than people probably wish it did.
And I just skimmed it really briefly, but he was pretty cordial with Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah. He said he left the right way, and I laughed because when I was telling you that Meltzer took a lot of the stuff I wrote and put it in the Observer.
Yeah.
And Meltzer wrote, the only thing he did add, he's like, it's weird that he thinks he was so cordial towards Alberto, leaving in a good way when he was the one that probably hurt them more than any of the other guys that left. And, I actually thought, not to be, because, sometimes I feel like with Lucha, it's very family-oriented. And sometimes, I feel like I'm being insensitive where I say, hey, if I was running the promotion, I would just dump half the roster because they suck. But that's my way of thinking. I don't. It's like that's. But what you don't think about? They got family and all this stuff. It's like no, they're bad at their job. You got to fire them.
And when you're actually in the eye of the hurricane,
you're like, and I'm thinking Cibernetico left. Great, he was bad. Or electroshock left. Great, I can move somebody else up. But it's weird because they didn't. They had Flamita. They let him go. It's like you get all these great workers. It's not like wrestling doesn't work where it's like Cibernetico leaves. Oh, Pentagon Jr. is going to move up. No, they bring in somebody shittier in Pagano, and he's the one that's main eventing. And it's like, oh my god.
So it's scratching your head.
Yeah. So it's like that was Dorian's side. Konnan blasted him. The whole Konnan thing. He did talk about when Dorian talked about Mystices, he talked about how he left in a bad way, and he kind of sounded. That was the one time he did sound bitter, Dorian. So then Konnan revealed the story about Mystices, how AAA wanted to pay back Mystices by creating Mystices Jr., Flamita being Mystices Jr. Which what Konnan immediately told Flamita don't accept doing the gimmick because that's going to kill you.
Yeah,
he's like, and to me, Mystices didn't do enough in AAA for me to take the gimmick.
He was in there for all of 5 minutes, it seemed like.
When the new Mystico took the Mystico gimmick, hey, the other guy was the top drawing card in wrestling for like 5 years,
I felt so bad.
You take it, but you still feel bad for him because it's a heavy burden for him.
It's a heavy burden. You could tell he's working his butt off trying to make an impression. And it's just not...
And he had a lot of bad luck, and finally he's starting to look good. But Flamita, he was going to follow somebody who didn't really do well. It didn't really last in AAA, didn't have a name. It wasn't going to work. The Octagon name I could understand because Octagon had a history and was somebody who had like a... the whole, like, fans knew who he was, and he was AAA at one point. But it's like, even that, you knew Octagon. Like, if you knew Octagon, you knew that was going to happen.
Actually, I'm impressed that Flamita got out of that situation really
and that's what I mean. Flamita, he didn't agree with it, he left.
That's great.
That's what I think.
I think that was a smart thing
to do. If you don't agree with something, you're going to leave, and that's what Flamita did. I think that's probably more impressive. To me, he wins me over with that.
Me too, and
he's getting a ton of bookings too.
I was going to say, he looks like a kid.
Yeah, he's 21. 21 years old.
To me, that's a kid.
Yes,
but no, seriously.
But it's funny. It's
a smart move.
It's funny because I see people who they're big fans of Flamita, and I like him and everything. But it's like I don't mark out for a lot of these younger guys because they're kids. It's like to me, it's like it's weird. It's weird. I'm not gonna be like all like even when I talk when I talk to Volador Jr., he's closer to my age, so it's like I have this. There's the level of respect for him,
and also I think we tend to get a little more impressed not by somebody's first amazing run of success. It's the legacy they build up.
Yeah. Mascara Dorada
Jr. has
been around for a while.
Yeah.
But then you compare us talking to like interviewing or meeting Blue Panther, Negro Navarro, even Oriental, who's older. Like I think he's probably a couple years older than I am. He's probably in between our age range.
Yeah.
So it's like these are guys like, oh yeah, this guy's done something. It's like, and some of the younger guys, it's like when they because the reason I bring this up is because people always ask us, are you going to interview this guy? And it's like some guy who's just started in lucha. First of all, a lot of the young guys locally don't want to do interviews like the younger guys. They don't want to do because they're shy. They haven't done enough.
Exactly.
They kind of want to build up their confidence and stuff like that. They don't think they have much to talk about. So
and they probably don't know what they're supposed to say. Supposed to say.
So then, like Flamita, he has a story. He's been around for a long time too. So it's like, but it's like it's weird. I'm just glad he made the right decision to leave and not.
Yeah, that sounded like a really bad situation.
He could always go back at some other time, but it's like I think he's kind of at that point where he might actually end up making a name for himself outside.
I hope he does. I've only seen one match of his, and
I think I've been watching him wrestle since he was like.
That's great. I saw one match, but it was a I can't remember who he's wrestling. It was a lengthy match, and
it was the Volador match.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it was.
Yeah.
But I just thought, damn, he's good. But
it's so funny. Like AAA gets him.
Yeah.
CMLL could have had him because he's always wanted to work for that promotion, but they don't bring him in because, as Volador Jr. said, they think he's too small. So what happens? He becomes an independent. He's working main event matches against CMLL guys, and I think if I was CMLL, I would bring him in. I don't care if he's small, They got some most of their Dragon Lee isn't a tall guy.
I think these guys in CML forget that some of the
Panico, some of these guys are like small guys.
I know.
Panico and Jose Luis Feliciano are small too.
And some of their biggest draws in history were little
Mystico,
dudes.
like Caristico was a small guy.
Yes. Go back to Gory Guerrero, Cavernario Galindo.
I don't know. Maybe it's just
little dudes.
I would just think I would want to whatever I'm doing now isn't drawing attendance wise. Why not bring in somebody who's arguably one of the best wrestlers and why not build a promotion around great wrestling and see if maybe that will bring in people, although that doesn't necessarily having great wrestling doesn't necessarily mean it's going to draw more people.
It doesn't. You got to figure out what will draw. It always is funny.
Although the Friday show, the last one looked pretty packed. So there's at least some people going.
Well, and it's funny at the times when I talk with guys who are doing indie promotions and they're not drawing, they like to be set in their ways, I found, whether they're young or they're old.
Yeah.
And you try to suggest something to them and they're going, oh no, that wouldn't work. And I'm saying, promote it like this, or maybe not have 20 matches in one night, or do this, that, and the other thing. And they always have a reason why it won't work, yet they're drawing 20 people to the matches.
Well, I got to give credit to that one promotion in Cleveland, AIW. They actually have been doing a lot of stuff where they bring in... They had a show where it was mostly women's matches, but they had a lucha match in between. And the lucha match was DJ Z from TNA, Sima Ion.
Oh, okay, yes.
Teaming up with Bandolero from Chicago. It was 3 Chicago luchadors. Bandolero versus Gringo Loco, who's... I think you've seen him in... I think we talked about it. He was in IWRG.
Yep.
And... God, I forgot the other guy. Skyday Jr.
Okay, yeah.
Skyday's son. So they have this amazing match. The one thing that people decide to give is Gringo Loco landing face first, trying to do a Brio Dorada.
Oh,
and I'm like, dude, that match is great. Go back and do gifs of the other stuff, please. And I don't know if they've done it. But it's like but
the same kind of people who want...
Well, it was funny because Mascara Dorada responded to it, and I wrote Mascara Dorada and the guy. The guy's cool. The guy who does the gift. I mean, he's doing a lot of work, but he's not gonna listen to this because I already know he doesn't listen to podcasts. so it's like he said. I told him, that guy's really good. I go, Gringo Loco is a really good worker, and I think, and he's actually very experienced. I go, it just shows you how difficult that move is. Mm-hmm. And he said, no, I agree and everything, and we all agreed and everything. But it was kind of funny because I just felt I had to defend the guy because I kind of felt bad for him.
I would too. In fact, there are some funny gifs of guys messing with spot or stuff, but at the same time, it's so weird how if somebody's getting mugged in the streets, people pull out their cell phones not to call 911, but to film it and put it on YouTube.
But it's weird because there are some things where they fuck up because it's stupid. Mm-hmm. But there's things where it's like a guy trying to do a spot and it happens. And exactly. I don't think that's something you should make fun of. I think that should be something. Oh, he tried.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be like like being look at this guy, look at this fool, and it's like no, he actually tried something. And Gringo Loco knocked himself silly in that match, and he still kept going. He recovered, kept wrestling. The match was fantastic after that. Yeah, and that guy's really good. He's the guy who, like Steve Payne here in LA. That guy would have been that guy's somebody. I'm surprised he hasn't caught on with like Lucha Underground or something like that.
Yeah.
So they have great matches, but see, like they don't. It's like they're not a promotion where you're thinking, oh, they're in Cleveland. You would think they would stick with whatever they do in Cleveland, the indie wrestling in that area. But no, they're bringing in like different stuff. They have Shayna Baszler, the whatever.
Oh yeah.
The MMA chick. They brought in them. They're bringing in the Lucha. But what I'm most impressed with isn't that they're bringing because they're bringing Lucha Underground guys, the AAA Lucha Underground guys like Aerostar. They're bringing Flamita in. No, they're not the ones bringing Aerostar. They brought in Pentagon, I think, in the past. But they're bringing in Flamita. And but what I found more impressive was that they brought in 3 luchadors that aren't known outside of that Chicago area, really. Because, Gringo Loco, he was known by some of us because he worked in Naucalpan.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like this big promotion. It wasn't CMLL or AAA where they're like...
Yeah, they're not looking for
Lucha Underground
Jr. for the name value.
Or AAA or Lucha Underground, more or less Lucha Underground. These are guys that they brought in and they're like, these guys can have a good match. Let's see what they could do. Maybe they'll bring in more people. And they did. They were very impressive. That was probably the best match on the card. There's
cool.
people who have said that.
It's refreshing when promoters really try to
it's weird because
works.
We've been to shows here where it's American promoters and they don't even try lucha.
Yes.
PWG, perfect example.
Oh, totally.
I don't want to rip them because they've actually they used Little Cholo in the past, and they're using Lucha Underground, the AAA Lucha Underground guys like Pentagon Jr. But how many years were we talking about? Why don't they bring in like some of these guys like Piloto and Acero and some of the other guys?
A lot of good workers.
They're not bringing in the luchadors. Like, why is that? But it's because they had their different style. They were more Americanized, and that's not really what they wanted to do. So it's like, whatever. What's wrong? You're gonna quit? You're tired?
Probably should wind it up soon, but...
well, you showed up late, Kurt.
I know. This is true.
We still have, like, a long list of stuff.
Hey, wait a minute.
We went to a show with 3 Rey Misterios,
That's right.
You didn't even want to bring that up. And you didn't... It's funny, you watched the entire show, and then you missed the Rey Misterios match, the main event. And that's like the biggest moment in the whole show. I was
in the parking lot talking with Mercurio Jr.
Yeah, but
then we heard this big hush inside the building where...
Yeah, we thought one of the Rey Misterios had died. That's not funny.
Now I'm trying to remember, was he doing the baseball slide out of the ring? And
no, he did there was no baseball slide.
Oh, that's what I thought it was.
He did like a head scissors or something on one of the guys, and then he I guess he must have hit his head or had suffered whiplash. He looked fine. He rolled outside, then he kneeled on the side and just
collapsed.
Yeah, just collapsed.
Yeah, I heard it was scary for a minute or two.
Yeah, well, you just had Rey Mysterio Sr. tell wrestlers to be careful in the ring.
Yeah, Rey,
and then his own son
for people. The original Rey Mysterio Sr. was being honored at the show, and in case you don't know, he's been in a wheelchair for several years now.
Yeah,
and
cervical. Injury.
And he's always emphasizing to wrestlers, take care of yourselves. Don't
do anything dangerous. We should take on Lucha Underground.
Oh my god.
I'm starting to worry about Lucha Underground, some of the stuff they're doing, because a lot of those guys are starting to get hurt.
Well, I heard about was it Matanza?
But then you're hearing about Jack Evans getting hurt.
Yeah.
and Angelico. I was watching the Graver Consequences match. I don't know how gimmick the coffins are, but I mean, some of the stuff is like, I'm like just thinking, man, this is kind of like crossing the line of what.
And the thing is, I think you can get the show over without doing that stuff.
Well, you know, it I'm sure people are like, oh man, you guys are sounding old, but it's like, it's not really an old thing, because it's like, I'm sure there's people watching, it's like, yeah, this is kind of getting out of hand, you know? It just seemed kind of like, it just seems a little out there sometimes. Like, it's like, I even made the joke. I go, because they broke out all 4 caskets that they had, and I said, wow, they really needed a 5th casket match.
And they need a real coroner there.
Yeah.
No, well, okay. Going back to the Negro Casas versus Hechicero match. So
we haven't even talked about that.
We just mentioned it in passing.
Yeah.
So much of that match was just beautiful mat work.
Yeah.
And it was over. And yeah, they did some wild stuff, but they paced it. And
but the wild stuff is just regular wrestling. It wasn't like them, like, oh, let me jump off of this top of the rooftop of this building.
And it worked. Am I right? The crowd loved it, right?
And I don't mind. Like, I understand. Like, if you're doing a rooftop, that's great. Like, you do it once, but it's like, I think it's going to get to the point where they're going to start doing it a little too often.
See, that's the thing is,
because now they're cursing now also, and it's like they're starting to they're trying to hotshot everything nowadays. So
they're trying to push the envelope.
Yeah, they're trying to be WWE like that.
Well, and you know, to sound like one of the typical.
I kind of want Konnan to finally start bringing up stuff, and like, like he hasn't really gone at Lucha Underground. Because I'm guessing he still has a contract with them.
Could be.
So, but he's ripped AAA. So
I mean, and wrestling in general. Okay, the old man in me coming out. I remember, you know, when I knew Journeyman back in the 80s, you know, one of the things they said, you know, you save the big bumps and the wild bumps for special matches. You don't do them every single show, especially when you're wrestling 7 nights a week. You know, you want to pace the matches, do some mat work the crowd, do the high spots, and it seems like we see so many cases of guys wanting to do everything in their repertoire every single night. Well, remember, you and I were talking about that opening match in Newhall a few years ago. 2 guys who were big and muscular, looked perfect for WWE, just the way they looked. And they were doing all these wild moves.
Oh, the one that got hurt? With the one that got hurt? The guy that got hurt?
His shoulder got badly
separated.
messed up. Yeah, separated.
I think he's not even wrestling anymore.
I don't think so. It looked bad.
Yeah.
I've seen guys get separated shoulders. I think this might have been worse. And there might have been 30 people in the building, and most of them were...
30?
Less, you think?
Oh, dude, there wasn't even 20 there.
You know what?
I was like 30. Where'd you get 30?
No,
everybody at our table, if they ever listen to this podcast, they're gonna be like 30. Where'd you get 30? There wasn't even 30 if you count the ring, the referee, and the two
most of those 30 weren't even paid customers.
There was at least, I think there was like 16 people in there.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Counting the referee and the ring girl.
Yeah, well, the ring girl was there all the time. So.
Yeah. You and me and Logan and Ken and Dan, our man that night was Skinny Kid Jones.
Who was that?
He's that.
Oh yeah, the guy who went to the guy who got into that argument that who had that match where that guy stretched him, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I can't remember his real
name. Ryan Kidd.
Ryan Kidd, okay. Yeah. But to us, he's always Skinny Kid Jones.
Because he's wrestling in, he wrestled in Mexico a while ago.
Yeah, but it's you know, I don't know. Not being in the business, there's probably a lot of things I'm missing, but I don't know. I do think there's a way you could still get over with the crowd, but
see, it's not with Lucha Underground. It's not the wrestling. It's actually them doing those things.
That's true too.
Stunt work. It's basically stunt work. It's like, I'm not sure that's gonna really. I mean, they're not. There's only so many people who are gonna watch the show anyways.
Yeah, this is true.
They're kind of going a little too far. I wanted to ask you about this with Volador Jr. Okay. Has this ever happened to you? Did you ever forget your wife's birthday?
Never. Not once.
Volador Jr. forgot his wife's birthday.
A lot of guys do that, though.
And, it's so funny because he revealed it on Informa, and, people were like, why is he talking about this? But he was kind of talking about his schedule, and he actually brought up that he had forgotten his wife's birthday, and rather than the announcer telling him, okay, let's, because the announcer he doesn't really have a lot of questions for him, so he just decides to get him to keep going. And so he was talking about how his schedule. He wrestled in Monterrey and Nuevo Laredo last weekend. He's going to work. He's been spending most of the rest of his free time packing to go to Japan. He's going to be gone for a month. So he completely forgot his wife's birthday.
Oh, wow.
You know his wife, Bruni, very attractive.
Gorgeous, yes.
Yeah, so he felt so bad, and she told him he was an egotist or whatever, something like that. Like some word that was offensive.
Like a narcissist?
Yeah, narcissist. I think that might have been the in Spanish it's an egoísta. And and so he felt really bad, and I thought, oh man. But then I'm thinking, why are you bringing this up on the show? So then they asked him, why don't you do apologize to her through the camera? And I'm like, dude, come on, just let him go. He said, why am I going to do that? I already apologized. It's like oh, I'm like, but I know if we see him again, I'm going to ask him about that.
That's not the right thing to say.
No, he's told the guy, he's like, why am I going to do it again? I already apologized. It's not.
Okay, gotcha.
He's not going to do it on TV, on YouTube. That's stupid. There's a lot of people I don't know if I mentioned, we mentioned El Torito was cut by WWE.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah. So Mascarita Dorada might be coming back, so that's good.
I'm up for that.
Yeah, Delta is gone from CMLL. He revealed this on Facebook after a few people realized he hasn't been on CMLL lately. He's been gone since like early April.
I was going to say I haven't heard his name in a while. And is he just going to do indies?
He's
or is he
working up north in Nuevo Laredo, where he's from. You know, really, I mean, if you're at a certain point, at a certain spot in CMLL, I think you kind of have to move on and like see if there's other places you could do stuff. Man, Kurt, this is going to disappoint you. Lady Maravilla is gone from AAA. You're like, who is that?
Yeah. I was scared you were going to say Amapola has retired.
Jinzo has changed his name. Here's another name change in wrestling. Jinzo has changed his name to Ronnie Mendoza.
Huh?
Hey, Ronnie Mendoza. I don't know if that's his real name.
That's better than Jinzu, I think.
Jinzo.
Jinzu just, it sounds like a knife they're selling on an infomercial or something. I mean, Ronnie Mendoza, okay. But the greatest name change is from Electroshock to Mr. Electro.
Okay, let me get through Lucha Underground.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, the show you missed. Matanza beat Mil Muertes. The match I was telling you that had a lot of gimmicks in it. They even had like that the lead glove.
Oh yes,
that they found in it was actually a pretty good match, but it's like you got Mil Muertes and Matanza. I'm pretty sure they didn't need 4 caskets to go through. One casket would have been enough. And I actually wouldn't have minded. Like I actually like the idea of them trying to bury one. Put one in the casket. They maybe needed the extra one to put Katrina in. But then there's like so much stuff that they're doing, like just throwing each other on the stuff. And I'm like I said, maybe the caskets are gimmicked where it doesn't really hurt them as much. I don't know. And but even then, when that story where Matanza cut his hand.
Yeah.
I mean, you gimmick one glass window, but you don't gimmick the other one.
Yeah.
Have you met these guys? They're not really going to be thinking what they're going to hit. They're probably going to hit the wrong one. They're not stunt. They're not doing,
exactly. They're not stuntmen.
They're not stuntmen where they're just going for that one. I'm gonna maybe if you wanted to do that, bring in a stuntman, have him punch the actual window that's not real.
Yes.
And then show Matanza in pain or whatever.
Right.
If that's what you're gonna worry about. We found out Katrina's been waiting 197 years for the moment that Mil Muertes would beat Matanza. So that was why. That's so stupid. Is that the reason? That was the reason MVP was fired, because he revealed that she was 197 years old.
Oh my lord! Really?
I mean, seriously.
That's just silly.
That is the stupidest thing. They come up with some of the stupidest shit that,
the paranoia in that.
Yes. Such great shows, and it's like they're so paranoid. It's like weird.
Oh man!
But that's wrestling also.
It is.
This past Wednesday show, Daga won a 4-way match. Apparently, Cobra Moon has the hots for him.
Oh, okay.
And Daga's kind of confused. Killshot finally had a really good match. I don't know if you've seen Killshot.
I have not seen Killshot.
He's kind of looked in previous matches. He kind of looked like a guy who could do a lot of good spots, like good dives, good kicks, a lot of good striking spots. But he didn't, like the rest of the match just didn't flow. He wrestled Marty the Moth. The match was a lot smoother, looked good. Really probably their best match that they've had.
Cool.
Chavo won the Gift of the Gods title that he had stolen from Brian Cage.
Oh.
But Cage ended up helping Chavo Guerrero win the match. It was a 7-way match. The gift. Do you know what the Gift of the Gods belt is?
No.
It's basically about where there's 7 the Aztec medallions. Remember the Aztec medallions I always talk about? See, this is how I know you haven't caught up yet. The 7 Aztec medallions. Each one of them goes into a belt. So then the belt is the Gift of the Gods. So they have all 7 show up, put in the medallion. Cage is upset because he should be in the match. Dario Cueto says he can't because Chavo's already in it. So then Chavo put in at first Cage was going to stop him from putting the medallion into the belt because that way he could get it back. But Chavo tricked him by putting a washer into a bag, a metal washer. So he was able to sneak in and put the Gift of the Gods, the medal and the Aztec medallion in there. So then when they had the match, Cage came out, and instead of destroying Chavo, he destroyed everybody else and helped Chavo win. So what happened, the reason he helped Chavo win was because earlier he had made an agreement with Dario Cueto where he was going to get the first title match against Chavo Guerrero next week. So that's the match. Chavo's very upset about that. The main event, actually that was the main event. The end of it, this is actually the end of it. They show Vampiro, and he's got Pentagon Jr. strapped onto this thing, like just hanging off the roof, like he's just hanging off the roof. And he's hitting him with the cane, hitting him in the back with the cane, because as you know, Pentagon Jr.'s he's got a broken back and he's in a wheelchair. He's confined in a wheelchair. So he hits him with the cane. That's the way, and he realizes that's not working. So he grabs a barbed wire baseball bat, and that's how he's gonna get. That's part of his recovery process. So that
that barbed wire therapy.
Yes, I think that's part of Obamacare. I think Obamacare is that's covered by Obamacare.
Okay, this is it. Pentagon Jr. for president, baby.
Yeah. So you just see Pentagon Jr. hanging there, and Vampiro's got this great idea of hitting him with the barbed wire bat, and it's like that's the ending.
I'm actually up for Pentagon Jr.'s president. I think he'd be better than any.
He'd be better than Trump and Clinton.
Yeah, any of them. Oh my God, we're fucked.
But it's so funny. Like he's become like this huge star there. And he did an interview with Konnan. He actually ended up doing the interview with Konnan.
Really?
Yeah. So and he was talking about how Lucha Underground, basically because of that, he's getting bookings in the U.S. He's like, and they were asking him how he views wrestling. He's like, a lot of guys get into business, they want to be like the top star in their area. He's like, but ever since I started, he's like, I've got a wife and I have 3 daughters. It's like, and I got to think about them. So my thinking isn't to just be a star, in my local area. My plan wasn't to be a star in my local area or be a star I want to be a star worldwide because I want to make money.
Right.
It's like, because I have a wife and 3 daughters to support.
Yes, he has. He's seeing this as a career rather than just patting himself on the back.
Yeah, so it's like he's and even that, like but still even having the mentality of like he has the mentality where he wants to give the fans the best match possible. I think that's also one of the things, and I think that's what separates like the really great wrestlers from the guys who you kind of look at and it's like, what we were saying about Mascara. Mascara's kind of not
right.
Like even if you looked at La Mascara and Maximo, they're both from the same family, but you get Maximo gives you like a little more of a. You kind of see that he kind of has a little more of it than La Mascara.
And it's just in my opinion, a few years ago something sparked in him. He's always good, but now he seems like some sort of inspiration took hold of him.
Yeah, and of course, where is he on CML television?
Yes. I mean,
he's never around. Their booking is so weird. It's like
it is weird. It is weird, but he's gotten a lot bigger push than I ever thought he would.
Yeah. Well, he's a world champion, so
yeah. Okay, I'll just go over this briefly. But as we talked about in the last episode, I have committed to watching Arena Puebla shows. So I watched the last 2 Mondays, and I won't go over
You've watched 3 weeks, haven't you? It's 3 weeks, right? But you're talking the last 2 Mondays.
The last 2 Mondays.
But
I watched another one, but it wasn't that previous Monday. I can't remember when it was.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks. You watched 3 weeks in a row.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I asked you if you watched this week, you said you did, so it's 3.
Now,
Kurt has a 3-week viewing streak. My goodness. What is going on?
This is a record for me.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm watching other matches like the Rey Hechicero versus Casas. But just my overall take on it is, well, one, I don't watch as much wrestling as a lot of the people we're in contact with.
Yeah.
So perhaps if I was watching a plethora of wrestling,
you'd hate La Mascara as much as we did. La Mascara, I don't even hate him. I
don't hate him.
I don't think, like, I would probably say, like, the one Scandalo would probably be the one I would like, just because they put him in every, like, these matches. Well, you saw him on there, so
right, yeah. I gotta say, I enjoy the Arena Puebla shows. They are not these, like, go home firework, just awesome shows. But I do have to say, even in some of the opening matches where the guys maybe aren't the smoothest, everybody's working pretty hard. And I'd rather watch it than Raw because they don't sit there, chatting away on a microphone for 20 minutes at a time. There's
this past week, although everybody said it was a good Raw, I think I only got to 90 minutes because I think they started doing like this long promo, and I was like, oh, okay.
And even with guys who are talented, I get burned out on it.
Well, I think it's just a long show for me. Like,
yeah.
To me, it's like,
and they're filling 3 hours.
Yeah,
I know they're probably figuring you got to do that to fill a 3-hour show.
Oh, it's the R-Truth thing.
Oh dear, yes.
Like, no.
And there are several guys that I really kind of dug.
Scandalo.
I dug the outfit of that guy, Rey Apocalypsis.
Rey Apocalypsis and Toro Bill Jr. are a regular tag team. The woman that's with them is Adelita. Mm-hmm. Adelita la Poblanita.
I was wondering what the story is with her.
It's Little Adele. Mm-hmm. That's what Little Adele from Little Puebla. That's how I think of her when I think Adelita la Poblanita. And they were guests on the Informa show this past Wednesday.
Really?
They were really good. Rey Apocalypse is a really good promo guy.
And you know what? That outfit he has, it is both campy but creepy at the same time.
And the way they talk, it's hilarious. They were talking about they asked them how long they've been a team, and Rey Apocalypse said we've been in Spanish teammate is pareja.
Yeah.
But pareja not only means teammate, but it also could mean couple.
Oh, could mean
remember Superboy got caught up in that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
One promo,
yes.
Where he said we're a good couple, and people laughed at him. Well, when he said it, people got it the other way, the couple way. Mm-hmm. So then Toro Bill Jr.'s like, oh, we don't go that way. And Rey Apocalypse responded, hey, it's 2016. It's okay. It's a new world. We could do that. We could be a couple, no problem.
Okay, I'm becoming a big fan of his. They wrestled Hombre Bala Jr. and Star Jr.
Yeah.
I liked them, too.
Yeah.
I also liked that the ending of the match was, I can't remember which heel it was, does a tope and accidentally hits what's her
Adelita,
and that mistake immediately led to them getting beaten in the last fall. Where I see so many times where the cornerman or the valet gets bonked, and it's in the middle of the match and there's no reason.
And
for
she's
it.
actually a wrestler too. But did you see that she was wearing long shorts underneath? So on Informa they freeze framed it.
Oh, no way!
And showed it, and they had them discuss what type of underwear those were.
Oh, that's cute. That's very cute.
It's a good. I got to recap that show just because of that. Their segment was good. Yeah, their segment was good.
I really like that. I mean, the opening bout
skippable,
and it's the original Espanto Jr. I know this sounds silly, but that guy was one of the greatest wrestlers I ever saw. And seeing another Espanto Jr. who cannot...
And all the Espantos previous to him.
Yes. No, this guy couldn't lace the old Espanto's boots. I mean,
this guy can't lace the generic Espantos. there's been several Espantos in the last several years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that Espanto Jr.'s career ended so tragically, but
well, he's related to them.
Yeah, and then somebody I think you were the one who was raving about that I dug Shockercito.
Yeah.
Electrico and Astral. I dug that guy.
Yeah, he's huge.
I know. Yeah, that guy's got some
strongman, mini strongman.
That's right. He's got strongman juice in him.
Yeah.
Yes,
and he's not doing it right now. Wait till you see him when he does it. It's like
now
he actually is doing.
There's
it.
one guy. He's not the most solid worker, but I dig this guy, Espiritu Maligno.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He has the coolest look. Almost, he has that spectral look to him. I like him a lot.
I want to see him team with Carbonario.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be cool. And
I like Sauron, the big chubby guy that was in that match.
Yes.
Because he kind of reminds me of Gwar.
Yeah.
that Gwar band. Because remember they have that one guy who has like the headgear and all that. The headpiece.
He looks cool. He just looks like cool.
Not the monsters, but just that one dude. There's one dude that's fat that has that thing.
You know, it reminded me. It kind of reminded me of when I used to go to San Bernardino Arena. They're not the Olympic Auditorium shows.
Yeah.
But I dig it. I dig that ambience in Arena Puebla, and I actually liked a lot of the workers. The funniest part was seeing the main event between Marco Corleone and Rush. And like you and I were saying... Rushed. This match was rushed. This was funny. Like you said, it was a good match, but it was very short, but it was almost comical how short it was. The only thing that would have been the perfect touch was if there was a clock right outside the dressing room where they punched in their time clock, got in there,
that would have been awesome,
and then punched out.
Yeah.
I never saw two guys who wanted to get their match done so fast.
It was so weird because even like I know some people were like maybe it's all like they're reading into the whole maybe Rush is just losing to Marco to like because it means something. Maybe he's leaving to WWE or something. Right. But it's like no, it was actually it was just a rushed match where
they
it was
just
like,
wanted to get and the funniest part is I remember Rush takes the first fall pretty quickly, and the second fall he gets DQ'd. So a lot of the match he's like punking Marco Corleone, like really dominating him. And in that third fall he gets cocky and he gets cradled and pinned by Marco Corleone. Yeah. And I thought, oh, this must be like an angle.
No,
I thought the purpose of the match, I figured, okay, quick match, they're going to do an angle, a challenge. But no, as soon as they're done, Rush leaves the ring, goes into the dressing room, and almost as soon as he's gone, so is Marco Corleone.
We got it.
I pictured there being two taxis waiting outside.
We need to get one of them to pretend like they're looking at their watch and like run out like as they're leaving.
Oh, that'd be like Titani Snow.
I just like with El Ejecutivo. Right?
Ejecutivo, yes. Oh, that would be great.
Just grab his briefcase and leave.
That's right.
Yeah.
Take his vitamin, take a phone call. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think they got to do that. We got to bring up, I forgot to bring up Liga Elite. Lucha Libre Elite switched their dates to Saturdays for this week.
Oh, okay.
But they're doing a Night of Champions type of thing where they're crowning they've been doing this tournament for so many weeks. We knew going in, when they said it was going to be every week and it was going to run for 33 weeks, we already knew that wasn't going to last till 33 weeks. I mean, it might, but it's like Volador Jr. is going on to Japan for a month. I'm guessing I have no idea what's going on with them, but they're doing this tournament, this battle royale for the world championship to crown their first world champion, and they're doing something for the middleweight title or something else. And it's like they basically because the League Elite, the winner was going to be the world champion, so they basically just scrapped all that. It was like, what are you guys doing? You just scrapped this stuff? I don't know if they scrapped the tournament or if it's just scrapping the end. I mean,
I was actually surprised at how good some of the tournament matches were.
It might have been the best tournament they outside of En Busca de un Ídolo.
So it's kind of a shame they're...
Yeah, because really, outside of En Busca de un Ídolo, and not last year, but the previous years, this was probably the best plan. I mean, yeah, you're going to get some bad matches with Cibernetico and maybe Bobby Lashley against certain guys. But it's like you were getting Volador Jr. versus Mascara Dorada, Ultimo Guerrero versus Extreme Tiger. All these different matchups that were actually pretty good. Caristico versus Volador.
Yes,
I mean, they were getting some pretty good matches. Well, Caristico versus Ultimo Guerrero. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's like,
and then they kind of like scrap the original plan. It reminds me of when you were a little kid and you want to build a fort in your backyard, and after finding out how hard it is, saying, "Nah, I'll just build a ladder."
Because they could have still kept doing the tournament. I'm guessing maybe somebody on the TV side must have said, a tournament's not a great idea. It's like, now you guys tell them. I mean, I like the idea enough where I would take it if CML could steal it. I would steal it. Because I would rather have the Liga Elite type of tournament than those short tournaments that they do.
I agree. I hate short tournaments.
Why not have... CML has so much wrestling. Why not have the 2 matches on Tuesday, 2 matches on Friday?
That would be cool.
Maybe you don't do it on Sunday because you want to do something different on Sunday. Or maybe you just...
or maybe just not have to be overkill.
Yeah, or maybe just do it on one day. Or, every week. And I just figure you do it two a week just because you don't want to last.
Great continuing narrative, and when he got down to the last 2, it would actually mean something with all the other matches being solid.
Yeah, because I mean, if you do it even like CML would be better just doing it. Because like I think in Busca, if they did it the way Liga Elite would do it, would probably last through the year, really. But I mean, the way they do it, where it's 2 matches every single like Tuesday and Friday, they're going through it a little quicker. It's like. That's what I think it's an 8-week type of thing.
And it's so funny because I remember when we used to years ago go to Tijuana.
Yeah,
we never knew what was going to be on the show, and most of the times we were very pleasantly surprised. But every now and then, one night tournament, we're going, oh crap!
Yeah,
you'd have these 5-minute matches where
they wouldn't even do anything.
No, they'd put each other in simple holds and then roll each other up, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I just remember the most recent scene was when Negro Casas was in one of those, and he just got pinned. Like they only showed like a 30-second clip of what he did, and he did nothing. Like you just see him getting pinned, and like the match, they show a full match of Dallas versus somebody else, some other woman. Like great, we get a full match of Dallas, but we don't get Negro Casas for 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah, so
there's something wrong there. Something wrong.
No offense to Dallas.
That's right. I like her.
Yeah.
Well, I think that wraps up episode 57, and...
We'll be back in 2 weeks, I think.
2 weeks it is. I'll have more Puebla to cover, and in fact, next time I'll do it in a little more detail, but, I got Puebla fever.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you.
I have Lucha Underground fever. I just don't want guys to get hurt so often. It's like
neither do I.
Stop getting hurt all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Although I don't really care because there's technically it doesn't happen on TV. They'll be recovered by the time.
Lucha Underground's the thing where somebody could die and dig himself up from the grave.
Well, like in 2000, like Angelico got hurt. But it's like I won't know about this till like 2017. So what do I say? Just
That's
kidding.
True.
It affects his bookings elsewhere. So
he'll be healed.
Yeah,
he shall be healed.
For Lucha Underground, I mean, for this stuff, it kind of sucks.
Okay, well, let's aim for 2 weeks, and hope you have.
And hopefully, we'll have more TNA updates next week.
We'll have more TNA updates
next show.
Not
next week. 2 weeks, maybe.
And until then, Headcats, have a totally rockin' 2 weeks, and we will see you in
2 weeks, maybe.
2 weeks. Keep on rocking.